Hey everyone, and welcome to a mini episode of Reading Reddit with Amber. I'm trying something new for a few weeks, releasing shorter Am I the Jerk videos on Sundays, so you get 2 Am I the Jerk videos a week instead of 1. I'm doing this in place of the spooky stories video, so if you really like the scary stories, let me know. I would like to potentially bring those back at some point in the future, but they weren't very popular, so I'm kind of shifting gears for a little bit and seeing how this works. Our first story today is, Am I the jerk for telling my daughter to leave her homophobic boyfriend? My daughter, Beth, 16-year-old female, recently began dating one of her friends, James, around 7 months ago. He's generally a good guy and treats her well. She's constantly gushing about him or talking to him on the phone as he lives in a different country. Beth is a very passionate young woman. She's incredibly passionate about social issues such as LGBT issues and feminism, and James shares most of the same political views with her. Or so I thought. I don't know how long ago I first noticed it, I think a few months ago, but I ignored it at first. The two of them were on the phone late one night, and Beth wasn't wearing headphones, as she often forgets to charge them or forgets where she puts them. Beth told James that she liked his accent, and he replied by saying, "That's gay, bro." They both laughed. I thought it was odd that Beth is so into LGBT rights, but would laugh at the comment, but I brushed it off that she might have been tired or hadn't heard correctly. A few nights later, she complimented him on something by saying, "Not to be gay, but your laugh is really cute." I asked her about why she had said it the next morning, and she turned red and said it was an inside joke between the two of them. Beth has said she is bisexual since she was 13, and then said she was non-binary when she was 15. She's trying to be a good ally to the community and has the bisexual flag, the blue, pink, and purple flag, and the straight ally flag, the blue, pink, and white one, in her room, so I don't understand why she would suddenly act like this. She likes dressing in boys' clothes and has done that more since dating James. Since she came out, I told her that she wanted to stop being a girl because she doesn't feel like we're treated equally, and that when she outgrew her feminist phase, she would see that what she was doing is immoral and wrong, but she doesn't listen. I think James is enabling this behavior in her. He calls her bro as if she's a man, and I don't like that he's trying to mock gay relationships. I'm extremely disappointed in my daughter's actions and thought she would stand up for the gay community, but she seems to play along with him. This afternoon I sat down with her and asked her to hear me out, that I didn't think James was a good influence on her, and that I was disappointed in her for dating somebody so homophobic and such a bad influence on her. She got defensive and said that he isn't homophobic, and that it's all inside jokes as they are both in the LGBT community. I told her that he couldn't be gay if he was dating a girl. Alright, I'm just going to pause right here. You can absolutely be part of the LGBTQ community and be dating someone who's a different gender than you, like bisexual, pansexual people exist, so... But yeah, continuing on. And she got teary-eyed and told me that I wouldn't accept her, then stormed off to her room to sulk. I followed her and told her I wanted them to be broken up by the weekend because I don't want to support her relationship with someone who says those kind of things and calls her a boy and makes her think those things are okay. Am I the jerk for insisting they break up? Opie is so much in the wrong here, but not for the reasons she thinks. Now, I'm going to use gender-neutral terms to refer to Opie's child here because it sounds like Opie doesn't understand what it means for someone to be non-binary, and I don't want to assume that Opie's pronoun choices are correct. Opie, your child is trying to tell you something very important, and you are not listening. Your child has told you explicitly, as well as implicitly, because that straight ally flag sounds an awful lot like the trans flag, that they are non-binary. These jokes between your child and James have to be interpreted through this lens. You mentioned that your child started wearing more masculine clothes since they started dating James. Maybe that's because they feel comfortable being their true self around him. And these jokes, they could actually be really affirming for the person who is constantly being misgendered by their mother. Everything about this sounds to me like James is being a supportive partner while you are being a jerk. I get the sense that you're using the jokes as an excuse to break them up because you don't like that your child feels comfortable being genuine around James. I mean, it's pretty clear from the way you talk about it, you kind of hide it a little bit, But you're like, I don't like that he calls my child a boy, and it's like, I think we're getting at what's really bothering you here. Breaking them up will not give you the daughter you like to pretend you have. Nothing will, because your child is not a girl. Take a cue from James and start respecting your child for the person they are. Our last story today is, am I the jerk for not agreeing to a name change for my daughter, despite her father wanting one? My ex and I were engaged, living together, and planning on trying for kids after the wedding. The wedding got delayed, and I found out I was pregnant shortly after. My ex freaked out, insisted it couldn't be his baby because he wasn't ready to be a dad, that this was all happening too fast and wasn't how he planned it, and said he needed some time to think everything over. He then moved out, blocked me, and didn't answer any kind of attempted contact for 10 months. Our child was born without him there, and I named our daughter Elizabeth Laura Smith without his input. Elizabeth because I like it and it reminds me of my favorite book character, I work in literature, Laura after my grandmother, and Smith is my surname. My ex has reached out. He said he waited this long because he wasn't sure how far along I was when we were together, but he figured the baby had to have been born by now. I said that his timing was a little off because she's 5 months old. X has said he's planning to sort out custody. We've not discussed logistics yet, but he's unlikely to get anything before she turns 1. He asked if I'd named her yet, and I told him what I'd named her. X then said he hates that name. He thinks it sounds old and stuffy. He says that as his mother Mary has recently, November 2019, passed away, he wants to name our daughter Mary. He says Mary must be the first name and that I can have either Elizabeth or Laura as the middle name. I made it clear, in no uncertain terms, that I will not change her name. I hate the name Mary. I hate how it sounds, both alone and with Elizabeth/Laura Smith on the end of it. Plus, I didn't like his mother either, though I didn't remind him of that. X said that if we're going to co-parent, then I have to learn to compromise, and this is the place to start, and that it's unfair that I get to choose both her first and middle name. I said that if he hadn't blocked me for the better part of a year, he'd have been able to say all of this when she was born. X said that the above is proof that I'm being petty and that he can't undo the past, but I can prevent any feelings of dislike/resentment from him over the name in the future, and that as the father, he should have a say in his daughter's name. He also says that he's willing to let her be a Smith and not force me to use her surname, which he feels is proof that he has already negotiated. Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. The ex walked out on his child. He doesn't get to waltz in 5 months after the baby was born and start making demands. If he wanted to say in her name, he shouldn't have dropped off the radar for 10 months. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like or letting me know in the comments. I post new videos twice a week on Wednesdays and Sundays. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. So yeah, Brian, all that waffling I did, just cut it. Sorry.